a solo project. I've developed and coded and did everything in it. Literally filled every role, so it's a one-man project, and it's not a full time, something I devoted full time to. I've been doing this in between my studies, and I haven't invested an awful lot of time into it, but it's already got 17 levels and some pretty interesting dynamics, or as people call them, mechanics, which you will see as I play through a bit of it. It's already a mess here. I got 3 balls to juggle and manage. First, let's start with the narrative. It's based on an SF story I imagined I would write when I was in my 20s. Basically, I thought, because I love short SF stories, I thought if I was to write one, what would it be? And I decided straight away that it would have a bad ending. So the premise is like this. A certain AI entity the size of a couple of planets, or a large planet, is traveling through space. The size doesn't really matter, but it's huge. It's traveling through space, and every single what's it called, planet that inhabited planet that it encounters, it's an AI. So it's a strange an AI which has gone haywire in some unknown universe or galaxy, and it started assimilating everything that is either mechanic or like digital, which is similar to it. All the machines. It started assimilating all the machines, hence the name Assimilator, though it's got a double meaning. Anyway, this AI got to planet Earth, and immediately it started the usual protocol. It sent a sort of a beam which scans and assimilates everything that it's interested in, which is to say machines, throughout the atmosphere, then along the surface, and then this beam continues to the core of the planet, which is where the planet gets destroyed, or it explodes. And this was the end of my SF story. This is what happens, and no one can do anything about it. And such is the cruel nature of the universe. It's like a natural disaster. It just arrived, destroyed us, assimilated all the machines, and went on. But this wouldn't work, obviously, in the premise of my game. So there's an alternate ending which is very plausible and interesting. The AI assimilator, the huge planet-like entity, came across a prototype of a DNA CPU and perhaps memory module, and it was very intrigued by this fusion of organic and machine matter, a new concept for it, because through some chance no other planet had done it so far, of the hundreds of planets that it assimilated and destroyed. So it was intrigued. So instead of destroying the Earth, it stopped at the very, as it started drilling into below the surface. It stopped right there as it realized that it had something new, and it got interested in humans as well. It wanted what they had, their DNA. So one by one it would start tapping into the spinal cords of... I still haven't solved this one. The spinal cords of many a human, and our protagonist was next in line, and he got tapped into as well. But our protagonist is a bit of a nerdy, beyond a nerdy character. As you can see, I'm playing with post-processing here as well, and various mechanics which are quite apparent. And our protagonist, not only does he code at a level uncommon to most people, he's not only proficient in assembler. He's that nerdy. He's not only proficient in assembler, he's proficient in machine code. He like dreams machine code. That's how nerdy this guy is. Sort of a recluse from society, but as he got tapped into, he started communicating with the machine. A ghost in the machine, so to speak. He got fused with it, and this pad is a representation of his and the ball is a representation of his code that which he's sending to the machine and trying to hack into it, fuse with it, overtake it, poison it, infect it with humanity, with our essence, which the Assimilator asked for. So, in a way, our human protagonist the hero is trying to assimilate the machine instead of getting assimilated into it. So this is the premise, the totality of it. As you can see, it's a breakout game. So far, I have a list of about 20 mechanics which are going to get done, and some of them are very new, some of them are classic, like a fireball that cuts through everything. I guess I'll post a list of the mechanics which I'm going to execute and build and code. I'm currently obviously playing with some particle effects. None of this is final, it's a vertical slice, testing, hoping for some happy accidents, but as I stated, I have even too many mechanics planned, and it should be an awesome game when it's done. It's not that hard really, all my mechanics are very plausible. I would just need some help from a graphics artist, I guess. So far we have this viral, when the ball hits a viral, one of the red or lighter pink blocks, it becomes viral and it starts moving. It becomes a little viral when it hits a pink one, and a lot more, and it stacks. The viral code stacks, so it starts moving. It starts swerving wherever. It starts moving randomly at any point in time, or in certain intervals. It starts moving randomly, which is sometimes useful to us, and sometimes it just cannot be stopped. So it cannot be stopped. We have this thing which makes the ball smaller. We have a thing which makes it larger, and we have this, at the press of a button I can enlarge the field of agency for my pad, for my player character, so to speak. You can see the line moving. You can see it moving there, and then if I hold it further, it goes on a cooldown, and then it moves all the way back. I mean, the cooldown is still not there, but that's the idea. Also, I plan to implement a sort of a resource management system apart from this, where the player can buy upgrades with the code he harvests from these blocks. So it's all about the code, the zeros and the ones, which was also planned to be a graphical theme of sorts. A lot of ones and zeros seeping back into the protagonist, the player character, so to speak, or its representation, what's left of it inside the machine. Even the ball was supposed to be one, like a representation of code, but I haven't managed this graphically yet, and because it's not my field of expertise, I've been playing around with it. Okay, resource management thing where the player earns the point, the code, the resource, and then uses it to either upgrade, to perform certain moves like this, increasing the field of agency, the movement, the field of where it can move, depicted by this line here. And also, as I imagine, that would cost less than one life, than losing a life. So it would pay off in certain instances to push this line further and allow the player to finish a level or easier, or do something else like protect a certain point, which I will be showing you later on. As we see here, the AI, the assimilator, he started replicating the players. Instead of the sharp-edged machine blocks, it started creating these more resilient and also mobile replicas of the ball, which is how the player communicates and interacts and attacks the assimilator. So it started mimicking the organic form it encountered. This is my understanding of it. By the way, it's balls, and they can be moved around, and they got more HP. Let's finish this level. I also plan on putting feedback into the pad, which the player controls, so that wherever it hits something, it also gets hit back, so that it moves in the other direction, as it's a bit stunned, getting moved backwards, knockback, whichever object it might hit. This is what should happen. Also, of course, as I mentioned, some kind of fireball which cuts through everything. Some balls to spin around, also to spin around the pad with 3D physics and whatnot. Should feel like they have weight to smack things around. A lot of mechanics I've written down. I don't even remember everything, but they're all plausible and should be an awesome game in the end. What's more that there's to say? Yeah, I didn't really put a lot of time into this, and already I've played through it 100 times. It's quite fun, especially when you don't move this boundary. This is a new mechanic for me, and it should cost, as I said. The player shouldn't be able to just move it whenever they want. They should be forced to play the levels as they are, and then sometimes spend the resource to, when necessary. You can see you have these things as well, which you will see at later levels are quite interesting. I haven't put much into level design as well, just some basic ideas which need to be further tweaked. I tweaked them a little bit, but they need to be tweaked even further. As we can see, the concept here is to break one of the sides and send the ball behind all the blocks, which is sometimes not that easy. if we send it behind here and without ruining these, it's going to do the job for us and get us a lot of points and resources without losing the same resources. And also finishing the level in a good amount of time, in a desired amount of time, not dwelling on the same level an awful lot. Well, basically there's no ball spawners here, so usually I put a ball spawner behind so that multiple balls just wreck the door for me. That's the basic concept. But one can play around with these objects quite a bit. We can make tunnels out of them, special like targets that need to be achieved. It's very interesting to me how this viral ball just stops and then decides to go somewhere else. I've never seen that dynamic in breakouts, and as I said, there's gonna be a lot more nice ones. For instance, I need a mechanical arm that's convincing. I want everything to resemble broken machinery that's strewn about the place, all over the place. And you see how this how this little seesaw thing sent the ball in a direction I didn't anticipate, because it's blocked. This is the point. It needs to be blocked by these. That's when it becomes really interested, to get blocked by the blocks, so that it's of a limited movement. Or I can do this. Anyway, my idea was to fill this breakout clone market with one breakout clone to end them all. And I don't think I'm not one of those who thinks that who's especially afraid of feature hell, so to speak. Too many features, too many stats, too many mechanics, dynamics. Like this could evolve into anything. It could evolve into a role-playing game where you build a character with stats, you know. Anything that I see as plausible and fun can get built into this. And I don't think there's such a thing as too complex. There is, of course, but I don't think it's that easily achieved in a way that it can harm the game instead of making it unique and more fun, if we have some basic understanding. But time will tell. Let's just skip this level, see if there's a more interesting one. I've increased the agency, which you can't really see the line here because I didn't put it into this level. The right limit line, which limits the right boundary. It's here, but you can't see it because I didn't put the line into this level. So yeah, there's a lot to do in this, but it's really not hard when you. None of this has been hard work for me, I have to say. It's been enjoyable, and it didn't take a lot of time so far, because I didn't have a lot of time, what with my studies and all the things I had to deal with in these past few years. I haven't had a lot of time, but I managed this little project and another one, which is also interesting and is more of a physics thing. It's more based on physics and weight and 3D objects and traction and whatnot. What's this? I've never had the game lag before, but okay, let's see. happens. Okay, and in this final level which I built, I came across, it's like a non-stop process that my mind performs. I came across it happens all the time whether I wanted to or not. That's what I'm trying to say. I came across this idea that I should open up one of the sides and make it more dangerous and not just one-dimensional, as in that we have to protect one side only. You see, one of the balls just went through the opening right here. I'm gonna show you. As soon as the opening right here is what you need to protect as well. Alright, the sounds are all generated by me, and as well as the soundtrack. Everything you can see or hear, or let me talk a little bit about the code then. As you can see, the ball, one would assume that it's just about the physics. Put in a few colliders, rigid bodies, let the ball collide all over the place, give it impulse here and there. It's not. Very often it used to get stuck. It still does. In very special situations, it still gets stuck. Oh, there it is. The game has ended. It still gets stuck in very special situations which don't happen very often, like in this side. So I had to code collisions so that they would swerve the ball a little. And I'm still tweaking this. I'm still looking at whether to increase it or decrease it in certain instances. But yes, the ball physics and the rules, the mechanics of the ball are very complex actually. One couldn't tell that from merely looking. Like, I would assume before going into this project that it's a very simple thing, like just let the ball bounce all over the place. It's so very not that. So the code was something that was kind of, it wasn't so challenging. I wouldn't say it's challenging, but the ball code is very much more complicated than one might assume. That's about it. Thank you for watching.